too much sugar last night.
I think, it was the soup party you were talking about for a long time. So I think that went on for a while, but I mean, sometimes it does.
Yes, but the soup party was all good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed we made over $2,000.
So much. I think it's fantastic.
That's
I wasn't even sure. I like triple counted before I went to the bank. Making sure I'm getting the same number each time.
Good evening, it is 6:30. This meeting will now come to order. I am Vice Chair Lynette Kirby, and I will be leading this meeting tonight. Will you please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is the open forum, and I don't see anyone. So then, the next agenda item. Oh, do I need to swear in Tatiana?
We usually do.
Yes, okay, sorry. The deputy clerk will now swear in anyone planning to speak during public hearing items.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, did we do the open forum already?
Yeah, we did.
Yes. Because, yes, we have no one.
Last chance.
Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the meeting dated December the 10th, 2025.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, so Jessica made the motion and Ross, right?
Yep.
Ross, second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next on the agenda is the consideration of excused absence for the December 10th meeting for Ross. Yes? Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the excused absence?
Motion to approve to accept the excused absence for Ross Runhouse.
Thank you, Amber. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is case CA 25-10.
Good evening, Tatiana Childress, City of Oldsmar Planning and Redevelopment Director. So this is the text amendment to the City of Oldsmar Land Development Code, Section 15.8.3, Accessible Parking Standards, case CA 2510. A little bit of a background on this item. So city staff reviewed the current provisions of subsection 15.8.3, currently named handicap parking stall requirements of section 15.8, parking and loading requirements of Article 15, design and construction standards of the Land Development Code of the City of Oldsmar, and the current city code requirement for accessible parking stall include a 15-foot wide stall with a 5-foot accessible aisle. These requirements exceed the ADA and Florida Building Code requirements. Due to numerous variance requests related to parking dimensions, staff recommends a code amendment to reduce the accessible parking stall width from 15 to 12 to 12 feet with a 5-foot accessible aisle for consistency with both the ADA and the Florida Building Code standards for improving permitting efficiency. So this is a request to amend the City of Oldsmar Land Development Code, Section 3.3.7. Sorry, this is a wrong request, so the amendment would be to amend Section 15.8.3, handicap parking stall requirements of Section 15.8. And this amendment was reviewed against the conditions outlined in Section 3.13.2 of the Land Development Code. This amendment complies with the comprehensive plan and advances the purpose of the Land Development Code. The proposed amendment complies with the comprehensive plan and advances the Land Development Code because this amendment will ensure consistency with both the ADA and Florida Building Code standards, which requires a minimum 12-foot wide accessible parking stall with a 5-foot accessible aisle. The depth of the stall can vary by local ordinances from 20 to 18, and that's currently, it's not going to be changed. So it could be either 18 or 20. The amendment will contribute to promote the community welfare, maintaining local land development code standards that exceed the ADA and Florida Building Code requirements, imposes the unnecessary burden on development without providing any additional accessibility benefits, ensuring consistency between the city's code and current ADA and Florida Building Code standards reflects best industry design practices, and improves regulatory consistency by reducing the need for variances and supports continued development while fully protecting those with accessible rights. Additionally, the amendment will reduce unnecessary pavement. This amendment will not grant a special privilege to an individual property owner. The amendment will be applied uniformly to all applicants throughout the entire city. And just to mention here, within the CRA, this requirement is already 12 with a 5-foot aisle. So we have two different parking design standards. One is for the Land Development Code and one is for the Town Center Code. And that's been already addressed in 2015 or 2005 when they adopted the Town Center Code, but it's never been amended in the Land Development Code, so it's more like a code cleanup, if anything. And each time we receive a development proposal, so we look at the handicap parking, the accessible parking stall spaces, and they're always 12, and we know that by code they're 15, so it's kind of like an unnecessary comment always that we have to make, but because it's in the code, we can't just administratively approve those dimensions. So this will eliminate the variance request, so it will just be for consistency with both, as I mentioned, with the Florida Building Code requirements and with ADA requirements. So, and with that, we recommend that City Council adopt an ordinance amending Article 15 of the City of Oldsmar Land Development Code to revise Section 15.8.3 by updating accessible parking stall requirements to a 12-foot wide stall with a 5-foot access aisle, replacing the term handicap with accessible for consistency with Florida Building Code and the ADA requirements. And we're submitting the staff report into the record. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions for staff? And I will start with Jessica.
No.
Jim?
Does this affect the signage and striping requirements?
No, those are typical standards that are part of the Florida Building Code. They're also within the Florida Department of Transportation. That's where in the MUTCD you'll find those. And also the ADA. So those in your staff report, you actually have a graphic that is from the Florida Department of the DOT graphic, but it's consistent with the Florida Building Code as well. So will not affect any of that.
Cool. That's fantastic.
you.
Thank you.
Amber, any questions?
Yes, correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I was just wondering, so it's going from 15 to 12, and it's almost like there's more room because we have that 5 space that we're getting access to, so it looks like it's more just, no? Yes.
Would you mind rephrasing your question, please? I'm so sorry.
I'm just trying to understand, it looks like we're getting more space, basically, because we get that 5-access aisle.
So the 5-access aisle was consistent before. We're not changing. We're not making a change to the 5-foot accessible aisle. It's already in the Land Development Code. If you review the section, that's attached. So that's always been in the code. What we're changing is the actual stall width itself. By current code, it's 15 feet. We're changing it to 12, plus the 5-foot aisle. So it used to be 15 plus the 5-foot
5,
aisle. So it
okay.
used to be 20, the total space. Now it's going to be 12 plus 5, it's going to be 17. So 3 feet,
feet,
less
okay.
of that pavement that you don't have to pave.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, that was my only question.
Okay. Ross, any questions?
Is there any, so when, like, for instance, so existing spots right now do not need to be adjusted, it's all new, like pavement work that actually would be required to,
That is correct. And the majority of the existing spaces, they're actually 12 and 5 because they received a variance. So in the past, as I mentioned, these parking stall requirements, most designers, they would go for a variance rather than putting that 3-foot additional
Right.
pavement. So in variance, parking variances is something that is supported by the code or is allowed by the code. So, and it's been always supported. So why would we put them through the variance application when there is a inconsistent, I don't call it inconsistency, it's just our standards are slightly, they're higher standards. So the minimum is 12, so you can make it 20 if you wanted
Right.
to, but it doesn't really provide any benefits for those with the accessible needs, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm pretty clear with everything. My only question is for existing people that already have their handicap, if they have more space, like you mentioned, would they require a permit if they want to go to the 12 feet?
If they wanted to restripe,
Right.
and it doesn't involve, if their striping plan doesn't involve any physical curb adjustments or any other like, like construction, reconstruction, if it's just resurfacing and pavement and they're not touching the grading or anything else, they may be able to just repave with the new requirement if they had 15, or yes, 15 and 5, and yes.
Perfect, thank you.
All right. I have I think, two questions, which you kind of addressed it just now. So if they're repaving, they can adjust or they can stay with what they had originally.
Yes, and it's restriping more than just a repavement. Repavement, you would be taking all the asphalt. Sometimes they would just be restriping, like when you go in the this tart, kind of like the dark
Right.
stuff that's on the ground. So they can just like seal the asphalt and then repave it, restripe it. So they can just restripe to the new adjusted requirement, I guess.
Okay. And then does this, or would this change the number of parking spots they can have on a lot?
So we're not proposing this at this time. So
Okay.
there's also a little bit of an inconsistency there as well. Florida Building Code requires less than our current code, but it's in a completely different section. So, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right. This is a public hearing, so I will open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak may be heard for 5 minutes. Seeing no one who wants to speak, I close, or, nope. Let's see here. Tatiana, do you have anything you would like to say? Okay. Then I close the public hearing. May I have a motion to approve moving case 25-10 to City Council?
So moved.
Okay, Amber, may I have a second?
Second?
Jim, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Or wait, do you have to do a roll call? Okay, thank you.
Board Member Villafana,
Yes.
Board Member Mascarenas,
Yes.
Board Member Stevens,
Yes.
Board Member Roundhouse,
yes.
Board Member Dingman,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kirby.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion passes 6-0.
thank you. All right, next on the agenda is case CA 25-11.
Presentation here. Thank you. We had some technical difficulties. Again, Tatiana Childress, City of Oldsmar Planning and Redevelopment Director. So this one is the code amendment to the City of Oldsmar Land Development Code, residential pool setbacks and lot coverage, case 2511. And again, a little bit of a background on this. The residential pool standards are currently located in multiple sections of the Land Development Code, resulting in some inconsistency among zoning districts and frequent variance requests related to setbacks and impervious surface ratio, ISR, or also known as lot coverage. So the city staff reviewed sections 3.3.7, 5.1.6, 5.4, 5.9, and recommends amendments to the to standardize these requirements. These requirements will include reduce the rear yard setback from 10 feet to 5 feet from the pool cage, decking, or paving to the property line, and 8 feet from the property line to the edge of the pool water to the property line. Require a minimum side setback of 5 feet. Allow up to 65% ISR for pool-related areas, excluding water of the pool and including decking and pavement, and also permit reduced pool setbacks from the mean high water mark for waterfront lots with seawall subject to the engineering certification. This graphic here sort of kind of like summarizes and indicates what we're proposing here. So again, 5 feet to that pool deck, 8 feet to the water edge. On the side, we're keeping it to 5 without specifying whether it needs to be 7, 7.5, 5, 6. So those are all varying, and we're not specifying to either the pool decking or to the water edge because we don't want to make it more restrictive just in case, because we're under a different regulation for Senate Bill 180, so we can't make it more restrictive. The lot coverage here, the ISR, pool water again is going to be excluded from that total lot calculation, and any kind of like hard surface material will be included. And regarding the existing residential home, residential driveway, all of that remains the same. So we're not changing it. It's going to be only for addition of the pool amenities. So existing ISR of say 50% for the residential single family district is going to be 50% if you're just building a home, so we're not changing those regulations. If you want to add a pool in the future, so then you have up to 65%, so you have another 15 of ISR lot coverage so that you can install that pool. And I'll explain how it's very important in the future, because if you maximize your lot coverage for all of your, driveway for your house, you don't have room to put a pool or by current regulations, so the only option is to apply for a variance. So to eliminate those variances, we're uplifting slightly the regulation for the pool so that people can still install the pool without applying for a variance first. And this request, this is a request to amend the City of Oldsmar Land Development Code, Section 3.3.7, accessory structures, town center, 5.1.6, yards, 5.4, residential, and 5.9, planned unit development. This amendment was reviewed against the 3 conditions outlined in Section 3.13.2 of the LDC. So this amendment complies with the comprehensive plan and advances the purpose of the Land Development Code. The proposed amendments are consistent with the city's comprehensive plan, which establishes maximum allowable impervious surface ratios for residential development. Pool-related ISR will remain at or below the comprehensive plan thresholds, ensuring compliance with the impervious surface limits. Existing established ISR for the main house, driveway, the detached garages remain unchanged, and reduced setbacks will not apply to those properties with designated drainage or utility easement. So that's also important. So if you have a drainage easement in the back of your property that is 10 foot wide, so you will not be able to apply for a pool within 5 foot setback. Also important that the comprehensive plan, so the comprehensive plan sets kind of like the top ratio for your lot coverage, and those are not triggered. So our land development code has always been lower as far as those calculations go for the ISR. So that's how we allowed some variances. So in any instances, any development can go over that allowable lot coverage ISR than what's specified in the comprehensive plan. Local zoning, again, was slightly higher. So this amendment will contribute to promote the community welfare. The proposed amendment will reduce variance requests, promote consistent development by establishing clear setback and ISR standards that allows responsible pool development while preserving open space and ensuring drainage review at permitting. Drainage plans are typically submitted at the time and required at the time of the permitting for each pool to demonstrate that there's a positive drainage towards the right-of-way. So that stays in place. And this amendment will not grant a special privilege to an individual property owner. This amendment will be applied uniformly to all applicants throughout the city. So staff recommends that City Council adopt an ordinance amending the City of Oldsmar Land Development Code, Section 3.3.7, accessory structures within the Town Center Residential and Town Center Boulevard District, Section 5.6, yards, Section 5.4, residential, and 5.9, planned unit development district. The amendment would reduce the rear yard setback for residential pools to 5 feet from the property line to the pool decking or pool enclosure. Reduce the rear yard setback to 8 feet from the edge of the pool to the water, to the property line. Allow up to 65% impervious surface coverage for pool construction, excluding the pool water and including decking and paving, and allow reduced pool setbacks from the mean high water mark for waterfront lots with the seawall subject to the engineering criteria. We're submitting the staff report into the record as well. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you.
Does the board have any questions for staff? And I'll start with Jessica again.
I did not.
Okay, Jim,
I do not.
Amber,
No questions.
Ross.
I do have a couple of questions. One is in regards to, how many typical variances do you see related to this
So
particular topic?
9 to 11 per year, used to be even more, and I'd say 99% of them are approved. So a different board, the Board of Adjustment Board, deals with those variances, and most of them, when the ISR is under the threshold, when they have a drainage plan and everything else. So as long as we can permit something, we typically at a staff level recommend approval, and then board typically votes with us. So I don't see a need for this, especially since we also reviewed some other neighboring municipalities. The city of Tampa, they allow up to 3 feet with that setback, and similar regulations as we proposed here are currently in the Tarpon Springs. So, and Pinellas County as well, unincorporated, they also have some reduced setbacks. So for pool construction specifically. Additionally, I think I mentioned in the staff report, I don't mention it here, so they're considered to be accessory structures, and accessory structures are required to be 5 feet away from the property line. However, for pools, that distance varies currently in the code, so.
Oh, a couple other ones, just in regards to, you said in regards to about the easement. What's the distance on the easement with the pool?
So the easement will be whatever the easement is required, and then you can place a pool as long as, right next to the easement, but you can never encroach into your easement area, so.
So you still have to have that buffer in regards to the easement.
So the easement will be your buffer, so if you have a 10 or 20-foot drainage easement, in theory, you could bring your pool all the way to the easement line. The easement line is just kind of like a line. Most people don't know that they have an easement even, or sometimes, they're not aware they have an easement on their property, so they can bring it all the way to the easement line.
And what about, was there anywhere in regards to about fencing? Because you say decking and the paving, but nothing specifically about fencing.
Fencing as in cage?
Like cage fencing.
Or the fencing on your property. So
Exactly.
if it's your fence, that will be your property. So your fence is typically located on your property line. So you could say property line, that's the proper way. So sometimes that will not be on, your fence might be not exactly on your property line, but here we're going strictly by your property line and not the fence location.
Okay.
But most of the time, residential fences are placed exactly on the property line, unless you have a drainage easement, and in the past, they were not allowed on a drainage easement, so you had to move it, but then you could place that pool right next to that fence if it's the same as the line, yes.
Okay, thank you.
I I have a question. Is this going to apply for people who currently has a pool? If in case they are remodeling the pool, they want to make it bigger or small?
Good question. Yes. So the other reason why we're bringing this up, and we have these standards, and we were debating whether to make it 8 or 7 to the pool water. So sometimes you would build a pool without a cage, and then you realize that you wanted to add a cage, and that cage needs a footer, but you already at the 10 feet minimum from your property line. So then what do you do if you need to encroach extra 2 feet? So you apply for a variance. So hopefully this will, for those that currently have, say, pool without a cage, that needs a footer, so they can build that cage without applying for a variance. So they will be within that requirement, the new requirement of 5 feet. Yes.
Okay. And in order for anyone to do pavers or, because we're talking here that these measurements should be taken into consideration from the pool line. So if they are adding like pavers and stuff, do they still need permits and that has to be considered so many feet?
Yes. Typically, you would apply for a permit for pavers under current conditions. Yes, so that will be because pavers are considered to be impervious, and they're actually counted towards your lot coverage. So there will be like a simple zoning application, so you can say extend existing pool decking. As long as you're within 65% lot coverage, you should be able to expand maybe your pool
deck.
decking, but it has to be associated with that pool, so you can't just cover the entire lot with just, like a paver up to 65%. So this is specific to the pool, how
To the
it's
pool.
written. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I do not have any questions. All right, this is a public hearing, so I will open the public hearing. Those wishing to be heard need to state their name, address for the record, and have 5 minutes to speak. Seeing no one. Tatiana, do you have any closing statements?
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. I will close the public hearing. And this one needs a roll call as well, Jenny?
After the motion.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the amendment for case CA 25-11?
I'll make the motion.
Jim made a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I'll say Jessica has made the second. Any discussion? Nope. Okay. Jenny?
Board Member Villafana,
Yes.
Board Member Mascarenas,
Yes.
Board Member Stevens,
Yes.
Board Member Roundhouse,
Yes?
Board Member Dingman,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kirby.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 6-0 as well.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to the last item, which is to adjourn. May I have a motion to adjourn the February 11th Planning Board meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Amber made a motion. May I have a second?
Second?
Ross made the second. Thank you. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.